it's just, you know, so bittersweet when it's time to move on from everything that you've ever known. Illustrious Fam. And we back, and we back, and we back, and we back. What is up? I missed y'all. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for clicking on this video. For those of you that are new here, my name is Adrienne. Go ahead and click that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so that you can be in the loop for every time that I post. So as some of y'all can see, I have a different background. A lot's been going on, y'all. I did a thing. I moved to Los Angeles. Like literally what? I am an East Coast girl till I die. I'm Baltimore born and raised, a B-more girl, but it has always been my dream to take the leap and move to LA and pursue whatever my artistic and creative goals look like out here. I'm such a sun baby. I love the weather, I love the warmth, and ever since I went to Southern California as a small child, I was like, yeah, this is for me. And so I feel like I owed it to myself to pursue that dream. And so I was like, it's now or never, it's do or die. And so I did it, and it's just been absolutely crazy. I've actually been chronicling a lot of my feelings throughout the summer on just how it has been to leave my family, leave everything that I know, and take this move to LA. This is probably the most vulnerable video that I have ever done, and I'm putting it out there in hopes that it helps someone else. I don't feel like on social media we are transparent enough with each other about how hard life can be at times. You know, Instagram in particular is one of those places where everything just has to look so curated and has to look so beautiful. And you know, I've taken a lot of lovely pictures since I've been out here, and my apartment is wonderful, and yes, the weather is amazing and things look incredibly beautiful, but this whole process has been full of Viola Davis snot, and I mean that in the best way possible because that's my baby, I love her, but more tears than I can count. And so I just want to be transparent about it. So if you are interested in seeing me get all my snot bubbles out and just like tell you the truth, if anybody is considering making a big leap like this, watch this video. I'm gonna give you the real. And so I hope that it blesses somebody. So thank y'all for watching. So in this first clip that I'm about to share, I was sitting on the parking lot of my doctor's office after I decided to try out some anxiety medication. Some of you know, it's been a really rough year for me. I made a career switch and resigned from my job earlier this year. And in resigning, I had no safety net, no plan, nothing really to fall back on. And while I was proud of myself for taking this leap because it was absolutely the right decision for me, stepping out and like having the floor fall out from under you was literally like panic inducing. And so around about early August, that panic just came to a head, and I really wasn't able to manage it on my own anymore. And you know, people that care about me as well as my therapist were kind of like, have you ever considered medication? And people have said that to me for a while, just because I, to be fully honest with you, I'm a person who does struggle to manage my emotions. And so I felt like it was time to explore that. So this clip that I'm about to insert is me sitting on the parking lot after I went and saw my doctor and had a conversation with her, and decided to start anxiety medication. Hey y'all, so I have my sunglasses on because my eyes are so incredibly swollen from crying for the last like 4 days. I'm gonna insert a picture here from this morning. Don't look lovely. So I just left my doctor. I am going to start some anxiety meds, which I have been considering for years now, but I had to fight against my own stigma against being on medication. I've always been a big proponent of therapy and always a big proponent of meds for people who needed them, and I just never really, I guess, saw myself as people who needed them until I was people who needed them. And just
everything that I've been going through lately, the past few weeks in particular, have solidified more than ever that for me, I feel like there's no harm in trying. I understand that being on medicine is not going to be some sort of like happy pill. It's not going to magically make me feel, you know, any better, but I feel like it will at least help me to not be so heightened in certain moments. So I'm gonna cry again right now, so that I can think straight and so that I can function. It's just gotten to the point where like I have not been able to function this week. I haven't been able to sleep. It's just been a lot. It's just gotten to the point where I've been inconsolably crying. Crying has always been the way that I've like processed through feelings. Like I've never been, you know, one to hold it in and not let it out, but I'm like so far on the opposite end of the spectrum that like I could literally be in the grocery store and voluntarily cry. I'll share in another part of the video like what is going on that I feel like triggered all of the intense anxiety that I've been feeling over the last few weeks. But I just wanted to document this moment of, you know, taking the leap and trying to take care of myself in a different way.
So it's been about 2 months now since I have been on the anxiety meds. Do I notice a difference? Yes, in some ways. I'm not sure if this particular medication is gonna be, you know, the be all and end all for me. I think that because this is such a major moment of transition and everything is heightened, I need to give it a little bit more time for my life to kind of calm down so that I can really assess whether or not, you know, this is the right path for me. So the next clip that I decided to chronicle was towards the end of August. Now I don't want to tell too much of his story because it is his to share, but those of you that have watched my channel before have seen my roommate Jalen. He was in my LA vlog and he was also in an episode of Coils and Combos. But we were in a situation where he needed to move out of his apartment, I needed to move, and so we were on this deadline of like, hey, we gotta be out of Baltimore by this certain date, but it proved so hard for us to get an apartment in LA. Like LA landlords and property managers are just really strict about income and credit and all of these various things. And even though like all of our stuff was on the up and up, you know, there's a lot of people fighting to get into, you know, nice, decent apartment buildings in LA, and everything is very expensive. And so, you know, when there is something that is nice for a fairly decent price, like, of course, you know, you're really gonna have to be tenacious to get in there. And so this next clip, we were coming down to the wire and we still have not secured a place. And I just remember each day feeling so like I would wake up with panic in my chest because I knew that the time was coming, but like we hadn't secured anything yet. So it was crazy how something could feel so real and so right in front of you, but also it wasn't solidified yet, so it wasn't really real. And so I was just dealing with all of the emotions of that in this next clip. So today is hard for some reason, and I think it's because there's still so much uncertainty around the entire situation. Like, I don't yet have a place to live, and I keep being offered various opportunities that I have applied for that just like don't really feel right, or the timing is off. And like they would need me in LA like in 5 days or something like that, and I'm just like, I can't just teleport, like I can't just magically snap my fingers and be there. And I don't want to go out there without a place to live. Like I don't really know anyone out there. Like I have acquaintances and stuff out there, but there's like not even anybody that I could like stay with. So I just feel like the uncertainty of it is making it really hard. And I feel like something that a lot of people don't talk about is like the shame around crying. I will cry at the drop of a dime, and it feels to me sometimes like it can be a burden to other people because sometimes I honestly feel like I can't control it, and I will just like burst into tears at seemingly random times. Like right now, I'm crying right now. It's
just everything about this is so hard. It's so unprecedented. I feel so worried about so many different things. I feel worried about the timeline of it all because I feel pressed for time. It's just a lot, and I feel like even when I'm not crying, it's just like a weight kind of sitting in my chest. Like I just know that there's a lot of decisions to be made, and everything is so up in the air right now that like the feeling of anxiety is just never really far from me, even though I just want to be over the hump of it already. It's like anytime I've made a major life change, whether it was moving away or just starting any sort of new endeavor, I always thrive at it. Once I'm like over the hump, once I'm adjusted, I always conquer the challenge. But like the only way over is through, and I hate that because it's just so scary and it's so painful, and I just already want to be on the other side of it. Change can just be so triggering, and I know a lot of people are excited by it, and I wish that I was more like that, but I'm just like not. Like I'm just the type of person that it's just very emotionally triggered by major change, and so I really just wish that I was already over the hump.
I am the type of person who always has a plan. I always know what's next, what my plan B, C, D, E, and F are. That's like the Virgo in me. Like I always know what's next. So this is the first time in my life where I have thrown caution to the wind and have just been like, I'm going, and I'm going on faith. And I don't know how that looks, but like I'm gonna just keep stepping. And so in the clip I was talking about, you know, having all these different endeavors come to me that didn't feel quite right. But I don't want to live like that no more, y'all. I have always done what I felt I should do. And while that's been okay up until this point, I'm also just so open to listening to the spirit right now that is taking me in a different direction. And if I want a different life and I want to change my life and I want to invite the kind of abundance and dreams that I've always seen for myself, I got to do something different. God bless Jalen and his tenacity. You know, he was super on top of helping us secure our apartment, and you know, he's just been a great partner to me in that way, because I'm usually the person that's got to like move and shake to get things done. And so it was just incredible to have, you know, a great partner in that. So we did secure our apartment and we love it. We absolutely love the space. Like God is so good. But it's also insane how when you get good news, you think it's gonna feel relieving, and in some ways it does, but it also feels like on top of the relief. And so in this next clip, I chronicled like right after he called me. He was like, "We got approved, shawty, we got somewhere to live." It was wild because I think I thought in my mind I was gonna be like, yes, oh thank God, and I was, but I also was like, oh snap, now I have to act, now I have to leave, now I have to go. So it is real. What do I do? How do I do this?
It's crazy how when you know, get the things that you pray for that are really good things, it still can just really hurt. So I got approved for my apartment in LA. I'm super happy, super excited. But I had to tell my family today, and my grandmother cried, which, you know, caused me to cry. And it's just, you know, so bittersweet when it's time to move on from everything that you've ever known. So like, don't let people tell you that just because you're feeling, you know, sad about leaving, that like it isn't the right move or anything like that. I still absolutely feel like this is right for me. It's just going to be so different and hard to leave my family. I feel like this whole vlog series is going to be me crying. It is what it is. That's where I am right now. So just gotta be truthful.
After it became real and I set a date that I was leaving and I made plans to physically drive across the country, the days leading up to that were some of the hardest days of my life. One of my major triggers that I think will always be a trigger for me is leaving home. It taps into my childhood abandonment issues, my rejection issue. I feel like 4-year-old me all over again. And so it puts me into this heightened state. And so those days leading up, there was not a day that I did not cry in my mom's arms, in my brother's arms, holding my dog. Insert a little clip here, like snotting all over the dog. You know, and so I just want to say thank you to my family and friends, my mom and my brother, my grandmother, my friend Sam, who just is so amazing and listened to me every step of the way and was actually the one who took the drive with me across the country. I just thank y'all so much for your unending support, because I would not be here without you. Just everybody that I was able to FaceTime when I was having a panic attack. You know who you are, and so incredibly grateful. So I left on the 15th. I don't even know. It was nothing but the grace of God that walked me out of my house and got me into my packed car and went on over to Sam's parents' house and picked her up, and we just got on the road. I am so glad. A lot of people had a lot of things to say about, like, well, why didn't she fly? Why didn't she ship her car? Like, what made you take 5 days and drive across the country? First of all, love y'all, but mind your business. Like, people be really quick to be all up in your pockets and, you know, what is economically best for you, and be real quick to put their suggestions on your life without, like, knowing, you know, the situation and why you decided to. But I decided to, A, because it was just, you know, more economically feasible for me, and B, because when else are you gonna get to drive across the country? Like, that's just not something that, like, most people just get to do. You often don't have the time to just take and do it, and so why not? And I'm so glad that we did. Sam was without a doubt the best road dog I could have ever asked for. Like, you know, you can't take a 5-day cross-country trip with just anybody, because, like, y'all might be beefing by the end. And so we had such a good time. So we left Maryland, we went through West Virginia, Kentucky, Arkansas was wild, y'all. Let me insert a quick little clip here. Y'all, not us being in Arkansas where we had to go, like, well out of our way to find a gas station that A, was still a gas station. Like, we Googled several places that told us they were gas stations and they were not, to get to somewhere that, like, resembled, look at Sam's face, a gas station. Like, where is we at? I can't lie though, I'm not mad at places where you can get alcohol in the gas station, like Maryland. What we've been doing all these years. We need to get, like, Arkansas. Then from Arkansas we went to, oh no, I left out Tennessee. Let me start again. It was West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California. And it was just so incredible. The sights that we saw along the way, you're not gonna get that same experience from flying. You know, flying is great, obviously, it's quick, you know, it's convenient, but it was just such an accomplishment. And it meant so much to me because my grandfather, who is just my first love, God rest his soul, he was a truck driver and he loved nothing more than driving in life. And my brother was just like, Papa would be so incredibly proud of you. And my mom was like, he would be calling up all his friends like, hey, my granddaughter just drove across the country. She drove from Maryland to California, coast to coast. And so I just felt like he was with me. His spirit was with me, and he would have been so incredibly proud of us. We got to see all different types of terrain, from plains to mountains to red rocks to everything. It was just so incredibly beautiful. And while it was grueling, you know, they were long days. They were like 12-hour driving days. I don't regret a single second of it. We had so many laughs on the road, and it's something that even just weeks out from it now, I keep looking back at our video. So it was honestly one of the best times of my life so far. And while, you know, we had a lot of great moments of levity on the road, obviously it was tough. I think the first 3 days were pretty okay, but the closer that we got to California, like, my chest was just tight. I was like, oh snap, like, this this is real. And so shout out to Sam, because she was just perpetually kind through it all, and you know, let me have my moments. So we did arrive safely. You know, we pulled up to my apartment and it was just absolutely amazing. But since I've been here, it still has been tough. It's like once you reach the destination, okay, I made it over that hurdle. I left, I'm here on faith. Now what? And so all I have for you guys, in full transparency, is that I am out here trusting God, putting myself out there in ways that I never have before, and believing that they are gonna pay off. And so I mean that with all my heart. If you are considering making whatever your leap looks like, I'm not gonna lie to you, it is excruciating. Like, I hate when people are just like, take a gamble on yourself because it always pays off. And it's like, yes, that is probably true, but it feels like you literally want to crap your pants at all times, or throw up, or just like be a puddle of tears. It is extremely hard. But as someone who is actively doing it, and who also feels like God has not failed me yet, I would say do it. I would say do it. I really would say just bet on yourself and see what God is about to do in your life. It is really hard. And for some reason, yesterday morning, I woke up and it felt like my very first Monday here. Like, it was the strangest thing. Like, I felt brand spanking new, even though I am still brand spanking new in LA. It's been 3 weeks, but like, it felt like disorienting. Like, I didn't really know where I was. I just felt super alone. And so I made a little video about it because this is how I was feeling in that moment. So I've been in LA for about 3 weeks now. And some days are better than others. You know, there is a lot that I like. So far, there's a lot I like about my neighborhood, and just a lot that I am discovering in the overall area that I'm in. But you know, some days, like today in particular, just feel like starting at square one again. And so I'm not really sure what that's about, but I did start this book today, After the Rain by Alex L., who I love, and I also bought the Encouraged journal that goes with it, so they kind of act as a pair. And so I started that today, and I just feel like Alex L. in particular is just somebody that I can really relate to. You know, she's a young Black woman who is a feeler. She feels things very deeply, and she writes about them in honesty and transparency, and that resonates with me. And she, you know, is all about doing the work even though it's messy, and showing up, you know, confronting your storms even when it's hard. And so, you know, I feel like that's what I'm going through at the moment. I took this leap and came out here because it's where I felt called. But it's hard because I don't know at all what's next. Yesterday, my brother asked me, he always asks me, like, how you feeling, kid? And I told him that I am feeling a lot of fear, to be honest, but simultaneously also feeling a sense of peace. And I have been feeling that way for a while now, and so that's new. I feel like an old version of myself would have been so consumed in the panic and the fear that I wouldn't have been able to feel any peace around the situation, and I do. And so that's how I know that all of those things can coexist. Even though I feel a lot of feelings of fear, I do know that I am on the right path, even though I can't see what the next steps of the path are. So I'm really just trying to revel in that and exhale in that. As I sit here now, I filmed that last clip yesterday. Today is a much better emotional day. I'm feeling in a better headspace today, but you know, it's an ebb and flow. And like I said in the clip, while I do have a lot of feelings of fear, I am doing everything that I can to combat that. And I do also have this sense of peace. And so I'm really just gonna try to focus, you know, on the peace, because I feel like what you give your attention to is what's gonna show up in your life. And so I'm really trying to put all my trust, all my trust in God, and just keep doing what I'm doing. So if you guys have any questions for me, please comment them down below. Connect with me on Instagram. I'm so willing to, you know, dissect this more. I didn't want this video to be too long, but I hope that you've gotten a glimpse into this process. I'm definitely gonna start vlogging some more, you know, as I explore different parts of LA and get my feet wet and really, you know, try to make this feel like home. I will take you guys along for that journey. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your constant kindness. To everybody that has just been so incredibly kind to me this year, I am sending you all the love, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Go ahead again and hit that subscribe button if you have not already joined the family. Hit that notification bell so you can be in the loop. That's a sign that it's time to go. They're about to do work behind my apartment, but I love y'all. I love you, and I thank you. Talk to you next time.